that was interesting. I do feel like Superman was a little too, again, emotional about all that stuff and paying attention to the comments and shit.
I think it was just to humanize it, because I think it was supposed to be like, if you were Superman in a modern world where we are intertwined with social media, we can't act like social media isn't the only way that a lot of people connect with each other.
Yeah, again, I don't feel like Superman would act like that though. You know, he would be more sure of something and confident. Like
I don't think he was like. I feel like, okay, so like this is where I'm like, I feel like you can be a confident guy and have moments of insecurity, and I think that was what was okay with this.
I've never seen it in any other place.
You've never seen it on TV.
I've never seen Superman act like that.
I mean, but that's the point.
I guess, but it's just like, all right, let's make a Batman movie, except let's have him be really sassy for like 20 seconds and be like, okay, we can do that, but like that's not really his character.
But I feel like it's not out of place for Clark, because even in Smallville, the series, as much as he was like that for sure person, he was definitely considered corny in certain ways, that he would just basically have too high of a moral compass. I think that in different iterations, maybe not in the way that we're seeing there, maybe that's a little bit more of a modern kind of a cartoony take on it.
Very modern.
But because like he's caring about Twitter followers, but I think that if Clark Kent from Smallville was done in 2020, that would have been the same kind of a joke they would have run, because that would have been prevalent. I think Clark has cared about what people have said him in a newspaper, and he's complained about it in Smallville. And he's a stoic character. He cared about how people talked about him in the news. That's kind of the same shit.
First of all, nobody really talked shit about Superman.
Well, no, they did. Like people have criticized him at one point in the Smallville series as the Blur, saying, "What are his intentions? Is he evil? Is he good?" They did the whole Spider-Man thing with him, the J. Jonah Jameson Spider-Man shit with him.
Them niggas hated Spider-Man.
Well, no, but I'm saying
Everyone
like, Clark reacted in a similar manner. It's just that this one is him reacting to Twitter monkeys, so it doesn't seem as serious. It just the context seems less realistic. Not really less serious to take. Like it does. If I saw my name in a news article versus if I saw like super shit online, I'm not gonna feel the same way. But like, I mean, it doesn't feel like it holds the same weight. But like in this modern era, it does, because more people are seeing the super shit hashtag than the news article, so it's affecting same change.
I mean, you definitely said it right. Like it is very modern.
Yeah.
I just feel like Superman.
He doesn't have emotions. He doesn't
like
care.
Above it all, like comments wouldn't affect him. You know, he's fucking Superman. He's saving the world. But here he's like, I hate what they're saying about me online.
I think it's a joke, but I think it's also like, but I feel like...
But totally, we don't know, because the movie's like a little off here.
But I also think that, like, I think that James Gunn definitely wrote this to be, like, more of a better representation for men to follow. Because, like, when you wear your weight and shoulder, like, I'm bigger than this, I'm supposed to be better than this, I don't feel emotions. And you encourage that, because men are very much inspired.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah. No, we get that, but that's not who Superman is.
But that is who Superman is. He's not.
He doesn't let comment section affect
because
him.
We've never seen a Superman in 2025. Like because when did you see Superman with the comment section? In the 2000s cartoon series, they had comment sections then?
But do you really think that would affect him?
Yeah, because he gets affected by the news. Again, I gave you a real life equivalent. He got affected by newspapers, right?
No, he didn't.
He did.
No.
Because you're watching.
He didn't attack his self.
But you're mistaking an older Superman. You're watching the things you're referring to are an older Superman. This is Superman that's been around for 3 years, not 10, not 15, not 20. So the 15, 20-year-old Superman doesn't care. He's been doing this shit. 3 years, he's still gathering his shit. And whenever we've seen younger iterations of Clark Kent, he gave a fuck. Even in Man of Steel, he gave a fuck about he literally let it emotionally affect him, and he let niggas die over it. He literally gave a fuck. It was a big portion of Batman v Superman.
He didn't give a fuck about people's comments.
No, but he went to a court hearing and he said, "Mom, do I save these people?"
People were dying.
He literally questioned if he should be a superhero altogether. That was emotional as fuck if I ever seen one. If you're gonna be like, "Damn, these people talking shit," this nigga didn't want to quit. He just said they called me super shit.
You're
he
comparing people dying to people saying, "Yo, you're super shit online."
Like, I'm saying that you're reacting because you don't like that he showed the emotion. Like, but like he did in other movies, he just did it He did it in a way that he held it in so much that he said, "Do I be a superhero anymore?" But that's not. But that's the same shit. It's just that you think it's cooler how that one came off.
No, I think it was for more like if people were like not making like I feel like he's above that. People making fun.
But why?
Of him
But he's supposed to. But in this iteration of Superman, he's supposed to be the relatable one. Why are we gonna make him seem like he wouldn't be affected by that? Like if the point of this Superman is and his whole speech at the end is even, I feel fair. I feel things just like you. That's the point. He's supposed to get affected by the small things and get over it, because that's what real niggas do. You get affected. Like when you hear some shit, somebody talking shit about you, you get a little emotional about it, but then you move on.
I'm not Superman.
But that's the point, though, because I think I think the point is to humanize this character a little bit more, and we've seen more humanistic versions of him, but we've also not seen a social media friendly version of him. You know what I'm saying? Like any iteration of Superman was before Instagram and Facebook was popping. I think Man of Steel came out 2010, 2013. Facebook was prevalent, but it wasn't like the only source of entertainment for a majority of the planet. Now it is. So that's the relation. We just haven't seen that version.
I guess
of that
inserting him in that world didn't work for me, because
fair.
Me, that's
that's a valid point.
That would be like if Batman got affected by that. You know, like I feel like there's bigger things going on.
I mean, but Batman wouldn't get affected by it because Batman doesn't show emotions in general. That's the point of this character.
When he doesn't show emotions, but
no, because Superman was never an emotionless character. Superman was always even in the comics, he was always a softer character. And that's the dynamic between Batman and Superman. Batman is the stoic, I don't want to feel emotions thing. Superman, you can tell a joke, you can crack a joke and get a beer with him. He shows emotion. He almost feels like as Clark that he can bleed even though he can't. That's the point of it.
Yeah, I think that was maybe like James Gunn direction with this, because I feel like a lot of characters were emotionally driven. Like even Lex cried a little at the end, and I thought that.
But I feel like Lex inherently is emotionally driven from jump. Lex has always been emotional. It's envy. His entire purpose from comics to now is envy. But what's wrong with it? Like, but my question is, why do you feel like the moment that he shows emotions, it takes away from it?
I think you're making it seem like I'm attacking like what's going on culturally. I'm talking about the character.
Fair, man. Let me isolate.
I'm not talking about social. I'm talking about the why it's.
You feel like Lex doesn't cry.
I feel like Lex has been shown to be much stronger than that. To let something to let a tear drop. That's like Dr. Doom crying. That's like Magneto crying. It just didn't seem like something that those characters would be doing.
So I will say, in the Smallville iteration of it, I don't know if he's ever cried, but he's definitely showed emotion on that par, if not more emotional moments than him shedding a tear. I will say that. So if you're saying that that's not what Lex does, Lex is more complex than the serious. It's a facade that he has. So I will say, fine, maybe you're not used to seeing tears come down his eye, but I don't think he boohoo cried to a point that it would change who he was, or it would have shown.
Nah.
I don't even think he showed the most emotion that he's shown as a character in other iterations. I think there have been other Lexes that have been more dramatic than this one. In that sense.
I don't know, but I mean, again, I think this guy's emotionally drive is what made his depiction really good, because they showed a different side. But
yeah,
I think there's levels, and I wouldn't have taken it that far to cry. But.
Okay, I mean, okay, so then you're really not fucking with the tears in this man's eyes.
Yeah, and it's not like he was bawling, but I was just to be taken to that point.
What moment, remind me, what moment does he cry? Was it when Superman escaped kind of a thing?
I think it's the very end, and
when he got caught.
Yeah.
Okay,
he lost, and he just starts cries.
You feel like he would have just been I'll get you one day.
Yeah, in a sense, fuck you, like express that hatred, or give this really cold, hard stare before he's pulled away. That's something that I feel like Lex would have done.
Okay.
But, maybe James Gunn wanted to take this in a more realer, more nowadays current direction, and
I think
character's more empathetic in a way.
And I think that's also what it is. This is a Superman for the newer generation, and even I guess that's my take on it more so than. And I think it's evolved for the more modern generation. So then, I think it's again the super shit. Hashtag the Lex crying, the billionaire being more emotional. and stuff like that, because that's kind of what billionaires are. They put on this idea, but they're really just like rich guys that were insecure enough to get that rich. So like I feel like if you got $1 billion, you had to be compensated for something. Like you had to really you had to drive yourself to a point where only money was on your mind.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, or be born into it, you know, or both. I feel like a combination of both, you know.
Yeah.
But like I feel like, so like I guess the it's a more modern take on it, and it gives us a different iteration than we've seen, because like yeah, we haven't seen, I guess, and I feel like I've seen like Lex in Smallville cry before, but I feel like it was for a lot more tragic, like, family trauma moment. So like I can understand like him crying because he lost, or I think he lost his brother or something, or he's remembering the death of his mother or something like that. Like it was like a tragic moment in his head. So then like there have been iterations that, again, I will say there have been iterations that I've seen, I feel like were more dramatic than that, but I can also understand that like in that moment you wouldn't have expected the tears to come from defeat. You would have thought he would have been strong enough to come back. But I also don't think that doesn't mean I don't think that means he won't come back. I think that just like that was a true moment of embarrassment for him, because the whole world
basically saw. He's a crier now.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, now he's feasible the same way Crypto flung him around and he's human, broke his arm. You know what I'm saying? He's human just like you. I think that's the point. Yeah. I think that is the point.